They flew off the shelves when the pandemic first hit, and now it's official. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, has given its first official approval to disinfectants that claim to kill coronavirus. 2 Lysol products are now federally approved as effective against coronavirus. They're Lysol Disinfectant Spray and Lysol Disinfectant Max Cover Mist. The approval is based on lab testing that found when used on hard, non-porous surfaces, both products kill the virus 2 minutes after contact. Lysol says it's currently working on testing other disinfectant products against coronavirus. Apple wants its devices to take the place of your passport, even your driver's license and other forms of ID. The tech giant has filed 5 patent applications for the technology. They detail how a digital copy of your ID can be stored, transmitted, and then confirmed. Apple does not use the word iPhone in any of the applications, but it does refer to devices. The same 6 inventors are credited in the 5 patent applications. The pandemic has taken a toll on real estate, and our reporter Kai Beach is digging into what several companies are now doing to make sure they can stay afloat in this.
Rent. It's what many Americans spend most of their money on. But as the pandemic continues, major cities across the country are now seeing record-breaking drops in rental prices. And experts say more people are now breaking and renegotiating their leases.
We've seen some falling prices and people not getting what they got a year ago.
Property manager Brandon Schulten is seeing big price drops in some of his listings.
We're at $3,040, but we started up above $3,300.
Demand for units like this 2-bed, 2-bath in downtown Denver are cooling off since COVID-19 hit.
Great for entertaining here. And
Schulten says many of his rental properties are staying on the market 20% longer, while prices have dropped nearly 20% compared to the same time last year. And he believes the plummet is linked to the pandemic.
Especially with so many remote work options now and that kind of thing, I think all of it's going to just push that pressure outward a little bit, and you'll see prices fall kind of in the urban corridor.
What Schulten is seeing in downtown Denver is happening to other major metropolitan areas across the country.
The pandemic has shifted the demand for rentals away from these really expensive areas.
Crystal Chen is with Zumper, an apartment rental tracker. Her company's recent national rent report found 1-bedroom rent prices in San Francisco fell nearly 12% year over year, the largest drop that city's ever seen.
It makes sense. Why would people want to pay like a big city price tag if they can't use the amenities and are stuck at home?
With more companies embracing working from home and more people looking to social distance, Chen says more renters are now leaving expensive big cities for cheaper surrounding areas.
Which what we call the Brooklyn effect, since the important factors now is space and affordability.
Space and affordability. 2 things New York City is not known for.
I'll be honest, a lot of people are leaving. The number of lease break calls I get a week is astronomical.
Lauren Feldsman is with Compass, a national real estate tech company. She's seeing a huge surplus of downtown apartment rental inventory since coronavirus concerns swept the country.
It's a tough situation. People lost their jobs, or they're furloughed, or they have their own businesses and their businesses are really shut down or taking a huge hit. So
while vacancy rates are going up, downtown renters are seeing some financial relief.
And so people are negotiating down, like 10, 15, even up to 20% now because, there's so many more vacancies now than there was before.
Without a vaccine, Chen predicts rental prices in downtown areas will continue this downward trend as the demand shifts from cities to the suburbs. I'm Kai Beach reporting.
Ooh, it was a hot one today. Fort Myers Beach now mostly sunny. You can see the sun glistening off the water there. 93 degrees at Page Field, and our temperatures will be falling through the 80s this evening and overnight lows right around 77. But it's the humidity that stays sky high. Take a look now for the month of July. I know it's only 7 days in, but already we are 2 inches below average for rainfall. We just didn't get much today, and I think tomorrow going into the latter part of the week, it's going to be very similar. This pattern is not breaking down. So we went through a dry June, 1 3/4 of an inch below average, and now in July, I need to up that just a little bit. Already, we've only had 9/100 of an inch, so we are falling behind this early already. And July is typically our 3rd wettest month of the year, so we need to pick up that rain. No problem, though, inland with all the rain here as showers and thunderstorms, a strong line all the way down into Collier County, moving over Lake Okeechobee. Just a couple of showers coming inland. So let's take a look at this. This is raining heavily now from Clewiston all the way down to I-75 as far south as the Tamiami Trail. These showers are moving over Lake Okeechobee. A lot of lightning there. Could be some gusty winds up to 50 miles per hour. A couple of small showers making inland now around Inglewood. Another shower just off the coast. These are moving to the east. You might pick up a little bit of rain, but very few and far between locations. I want to show you this little boundary here. This sea breeze front this morning started here on the west coast, came all the way across Florida, producing showers and thunderstorms. So it's the sea breeze fronts that collide in the afternoon. That's why it's always timed out that way, and that's not going to change. This will be the same thing day in and day out. So Wednesday afternoon, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, same locations again, running from about Glades, Hendry, Collier County. Most of this rain stays away from the coastal areas because our winds are coming out of the west-southwest. So that's going to be the pattern again. Take a look at the tropics here. Pretty quiet today. We've been watching one little center of low pressure over Georgia, producing some heavy rain in the southeastern part of the country. If this does pop out into the water by Thursday, it possibly could see some development. National Hurricane Center is only giving it a 40% chance, but in any case, it will continue to produce rain right along the outer banks of North Carolina. 90 degrees right now at Page Field. High today was 93. Felt every bit of that, didn't you? Partly cloudy and humid tonight. Low around 77 degrees. Winds will be light. And then tomorrow, partly cloudy, showers and thunderstorms again. Inland. Highs once again 93 degrees, westerly winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and your extended forecast is not going to change much of anything here. We stay in the lower 90s every day. Showers and thunderstorms mainly inland, and that's because of that west-southwesterly flow.
Thank you, Cindy. Children of law enforcement officers are carrying on the legacy of their parents. We're showing you how they're honored and how some generous donations are happening as well. And a South Florida woman has taken up a new cause, inspiring children of color through mentorship opportunities. You're watching 4 in Your Corner coverage on WFTX.
Live from the station that's in your corner, you're watching Fox 4 News at 6.
The Florida Sheriff's Association is awarding scholarships to hardworking students. 11 students who are the children of law enforcement officers are receiving grants from the association. They had to fill out a 5-page application and complete an essay about how their parents motivated them to follow a career in law enforcement. A nonprofit CEO in Palm Beach County in the town of Lantana is turning to the internet to break stereotypes and provide more positive imagery of black men when people are searching online. Chris Gilmore has the story of this woman behind a movement to get Google to change its narrative.
While many teens in today's world seem constantly connected to smartphones and the internet, Lantana resident Cassandra Corbin Thaddeus has switched her focus to connect to greatness.
And it's the same images.
It's the name of the nonprofit she runs with her husband Andre and close friends. The mission is to provide strong black mentors and role models for black middle school boys.
But I think it's just our job as Connected Greatness and as individual black men to show these young boys that we're going to fight for them.
While making the transition to men and shaping their own identities, their coaches aim to make sure they have options that aren't limited to stereotypes.
So the narrative now is that black men and boys are criminals, they're thugs, hear that word all the time, they are not smart. There's just so much, and all of it's negative.
This troubled her so much that she started a petition calling on Google to provide positive examples of black men in image searches. Corbin Thaddeus and her coaches say the negative trend is reinforced by the internet and influential search engines.
Oh, when you Google professional hairstyle, you see all these white men. You Google unprofessional hairstyle for men, you see all these black men.
I would like my boys to get online and be able to see beautiful images of themselves as dads, as a part of families, as just having fun, as entrepreneurs, not just sports, and not just mugshots, and not just those that unfortunately have been killed. You know, those are the images that come up first.
Other people have noticed as well and started similar petitions. People like math teacher Cartier Scott say it sends a bad message to impressionable black kids.
Oh, I can't get a job with my hair. I can't be my own individual. Clearly, I'm not professional. Maybe I'm just supposed to be in the streets because I got dreads. Maybe I'm supposed to be in the streets because I got braids. I like my hair a little nappy with the little sponge thing. So I got to sell drugs because clearly it's not professional. I can't go in anyone's office like that.
Corbin Thaddeus says there's no time like now for change and is calling on Google to use their platform responsibly.
Because we have, again, lives in our hands. And our responsibility is to ensure that these boys see themselves as possibilities in the world and change makers, as we like to call it, in the world. And you can't be what you don't see.
Successful, family-oriented, and educated, all at their fingertips.
19 days of worrying. The father of this missing Southwest Florida woman still asking for your help. How you can be part of the search. You're watching 4 in Your Corner coverage on WFTX.
Live from the station that's in your corner, you're watching Fox 4 News at 6.
A gruesome discovery just a couple hours to the north of us happened this morning. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Patrick Nolan. A jogger found a human head near this road in the Tampa Bay area. Police in St. Pete spent hours looking in the woods where it was found, but they weren't able to find the body, just the head. Police say it's too soon to determine the gender, the age, or the race of the person who died. The head was badly decomposed. It's unknown how long it may have been there. And police don't believe the area should be treated as a crime scene at this point. They also don't have any footage from surveillance cameras from the area. Today, the family, friends, and members of the community of this young woman were walking for Freedoms Park, trying to find more clues that could lead police to her. Her name is Lauren DeMolo. She's 29 years old. She was last seen near her home on June 19th. Last week, her sister found what she thought might have been one of Lauren's shirts in the park, where she was known to go quite a bit. There's now a Facebook page set up seeking help from people in the community to search for clues. Her dad says he's very grateful for the community's help. Florida Cancer Specialists and Research Institute in Fort Myers will shell out more than $2 million to resolve a civil lawsuit. The center agreed to a settlement that will return money that was overpaid by the Department of Veterans Affairs for certain claims relating to physician-administered drugs. The VA may also contract with non-VA facilities to provide services that are not available from a VA medical facility. The Code of Federal Regulations allows for VA reimbursement of non-VA care providers for certain physician-administered drugs. President Trump says he's planning to travel to Florida later this week. During his trip on Friday, the president says he's going to focus on drug trafficking and connections to South America. A White House official says Trump will visit the U.S. Southern Command in Doral for a briefing. Doral's in Miami-Dade County, which is currently experiencing a huge outbreak of coronavirus. Miami-Dade County officials report the county has seen a 90% increase in the number of coronavirus patients actually being hospitalized in the past 13 days. Doctors with Lee Health and NCH are reaching out to you and other people in the community asking for help in treating coronavirus patients who are struggling right now. 4 in Your Corner's Christina Evans explains how you can be a part of this.
If you or a family member have contracted and recovered from coronavirus, doctors in the area need your help. A vital treatment for critically ill coronavirus patients needs a key ingredient: convalescent plasma.
Convalescent plasma is basically a part of blood. What we do is we extract the plasma, and in plasma are antibodies.
Dr. David Lidner is over COVID at NCH Healthcare Group in Naples. He is an advocate for using the treatment to help patients recover, but his main issue? There's not enough donated blood.
The supply, we actually had a couple days where we had none. If people do not donate, we will not have plasma to give critically ill people.
The donated blood will help people right here in the community.
The Community Blood Center has predominantly been treating people in our community. So the people's lives who they're saving are maybe their friends, their family, their coworkers. I mean, the people who live here and call Southwest Florida home.
Donating for coronavirus plasma is just like any other blood donation.
An IV would be started. That is usually started in the arm. this is the logical place that we normally start that. And then the person just sits there while the bag fills.
And the process takes less than an hour.
So screening questions, vitals, IV, donate, a snack, go home.
The most important qualification is having previously tested positive for COVID-19.
So we've all had patients come in and say, oh, I've had it. Yes, for sure. And then we've tested them, and guess what? They don't.
The best time to donate is after 28 days of no symptoms. In Cape Coral, Christina Evans, Fox 4, in your corner.
Now, Southwest Florida and the rest of our state aren't the only areas in the country struggling with a rapid rise in cases right now. And there's hot debate over how deadly it can be if you contract COVID-19. Jonathan Seri explains.
Still no end in sight to the coronavirus outbreak. There are now just under 3 million confirmed cases in the U.S., led by spikes in at least 32 states. Most of the emerging hotspots are in the South and West. Florida and Texas reporting huge increases this week. But the death rate has been falling, leading some to speculate that the virus is not as deadly as we once thought. Local officials in a number of states now pushing back on that claim.
The death count is kind of like a lagging indicator. The more the community spread, the more people go to the hospital, the more they go to ICUs.
And as the numbers climb, more states are pulling back on reopening plans and announcing travel restrictions. New York and New Jersey adding travelers from Delaware, Kansas, and Oklahoma to a mandatory quarantine list that now includes 19 states.
We watch the data carefully, and we watch not only what's happening here, but things we can learn from the rest of the country. That's why we moved forward with phase 3, but took the indoor dining piece out.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, lawmakers are taking a closer look at the federal response to the outbreak, focusing Tuesday on paycheck security, looking for ways to protect workers without more stimulus money from the federal government.
We should get serious about crafting legislation that will get the American people back to work, grow our economy, not codify a partisan wish list.
And the CDC released a new report Tuesday finding at least 86 coronavirus-related deaths in meat and poultry workers. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Tonight, the city of Marco Island is joining a growing list of local communities offering COVID testing sites. This Saturday from 9 to 11 a.m., the Healthcare Network of Southwest Florida will be hosting a testing site at Veterans Community Park on Marco. The testing will be first come, first served for up to 250 people. To get the test, you do have to have a photo ID. You can expect to get your test results within 3 to 5 days, so it's not immediate. And since this is a drive-up testing site, you've got to stay in your car at all times. Hundreds of scientists are saying coronavirus is airborne, which, if that's confirmed, would be a big deal. So they're asking public health officials at the World Health Organization and CDC to provide official guidelines to reduce the risk of the spread. Shira Tarlow with our partners at Newsy explains.
Hundreds of scientists say there's evidence that the novel coronavirus spreads by even the smallest air droplets, and they're calling on the World Health Organization and other public health bodies to address that. In an open letter published in a scientific journal, 239 scientists from 32 countries say the virus can spread when we talk, laugh, or sing, and float in the air for some time, where they can be inhaled deeply into the lungs. That means particles can spread farther than previously thought. The WHO has long held that the virus spreads primarily from person to person through small droplets from the nose or mouth, which spread when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks, but it doesn't mention infectious particles lingering in the air.
The functional difference here is droplets come from sneezing and coughing, and they are large droplets, and they fall to the ground or they fall onto surfaces. An aerosolized transmission, which happens while people are speaking, while people are singing, they actually are a pretty substantial source of spread. Aerosols can hang out in the air for much longer. They can go further than 6 feet.
In a statement to Newsy, WHO said they are aware of the article and are reviewing its contents with their technical experts. Scientists say the airborne nature of the virus is not news, but public health organizations seem reluctant to recognize that.
If you call this aerosol, driven. It has all sorts of implications for what kind of ventilation hospitals should be doing, what kind of masks doctors and nurses should be wearing.
Early on in the disease outbreak, there was debate in the scientific community about whether coronavirus spreads through respiratory droplets or by aerosols. The scientists who wrote the letter say current guidelines are insufficient to provide protection. To limit airborne transmission, they call for improved ventilation, social distancing, and mask wearing.
Check this out. Large hail signatures showing up over Lake Okeechobee and eastern Hendry County. These storms are slowly making their way to the east. We'll track them coming up in just a bit.